Hello, my name's Luke Mardigian, and I'm the owner of the Mardigian Agency in St. John's, Michigan. And a lot of people have asked me why we have a radio show. It's because we have been able to do something that most captive insurance agents have not done or been able to accomplish, and that's we have a fully scalable sales team and we have a self-managing operations team. And what that's allowed us to do is grow to about double the size of the average captive insurance agency in America to today. So we are currently in 2021 on a series called No Brainers and Never Happens. And today we're going to talk about it's part 2 of No Brainer from last month, which is how to create a sticky culture. So no brainer, you should have a sticky culture. So we'll continue our conversation about how to create that sticky work culture and how to be more transparent with your staff in a way that earns their respect and loyalty and attracts A talent. And of course, for joining me for today's discussion,
Alec Nuremberg, Director of Operations.
And my awesome co-host,
Eric Gestring, the Mardigian Agency.
So we want to recap a little bit about what a sticky culture is and why it's critical for a business. So we talked, it's sticky culture means that it's difficult to leave. You don't want to leave. Your employees love working there. They enjoy the work environment, and it is allowing them to thrive, not just at work, but also in their personal lives.
And contribute to a bigger picture, like their goals and views are in line with the organizations. And I mean, that's hard to leave.
Yep.
It really is.
Harvard Business Review, they published a study that, Ivy League graduates will take a job for 20% less if it means they know they're a part of something bigger than themselves that's contributing to the world. People want meaning. Everybody's searching for and longing for meaning. That's why it's been so hard during COVID and everything that's going on, because it's just hard to connect with people, and it's hard to feel like you have a meaning and a purpose other than working from home in your underwear, right? I mean, that's not a meaning or a purpose. It's a perk, but it's not a meaning or a purpose. And so, how does increased vulnerability, I'm going to ask you this, Eric, how does increased vulnerability and transparency, how has that helped the Mardigian Agency maintain a sticky culture?
Oh, man. Well, let's dig into me, okay?
Deal.
So I was... I'm kind of a hard charger, and I like to get stuff done. And
you do.
I dig into stuff deeply and push hard usually.
Bulldog.
And I had a tough year between, obviously everybody went through COVID, but I had a divorce. I had a lot of things that I questioned. I'd burned out how many times with insurance? Probably 3 times at this point, and I was just at burnout again with everything though.
Yep.
But being able to communicate that with your team, and especially the leader of the team, and be able to have that viewed as real, right? Yep. It's not just excuses. It's
and valued.
Yeah. And saying, well, and obviously my production slowed down immensely, like maybe a third, maybe a quarter of what I usually put out. So if you think about that, anywhere else would you feel like you're being slammed, slandered, pushed, and belittled,
micromanaged?
Yep. In any other culture, I mean, it's rare to have a culture with vulnerability.
Yep.
And vulnerability is huge. I mean, to be able to be honest, transparent, and vulnerable about what's going on in your life is the only way that the rest of the team understands what's really happening, so that production can be picked up in another area by another person.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Because typically what happens is you don't say anything. This actually happened to one of my clients, their contractor. They had a project manager they brought on, and he was great. Everything was good. About 4 weeks in, he revealed that he was going through a divorce, and this is literally verbatim what he said. But everything's fine. We get along fine. It's all good. We're working it out, and it's no big deal. Which, we jumped on a coaching call we have the same business coach, and he's like, that's not true. He's not being honest with you. Well, fast forward, he sends an email at 2 a.m. on a Sunday night quitting. And in between them finding about him going through a divorce and when he quit was just days where he didn't show up. He wasn't filling out. He's supposed to fill out like a daily project log. There's all these things that he's supposed to be doing, and he didn't do any of that during that time frame. So they were going to have a conversation with him that was going to be like the step before firing anyways, and he saw it coming and quit. So like not telling versus telling, that's the difference. If they had known he was having a hard time with it, they would. That's
the other end of it, right?
Yeah, they would have pivoted and try to figure out some way to help him go through that while still being productive.
Well,
right?
in my opinion, it's more loving and reciprocal of love if I'm transparent and vulnerable with the people that are in my life, even in your profession. If you're not able to do that in your profession, are you in the right place? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. But I know that our culture is rare, and I know that we're capable of great things because of the opportunity of vulnerability and love and compassion, and where we come from as an organization is very divine, in my opinion. It's a huge thing when you're able to be honest, and then you dig into your identity and what makes you feel happy and fulfilled, and expose things that maybe you don't even see, right? And be able to work through that. It's only going to make that employee or that team member even better.
Yeah.
Right? It'll bring out the best in them.
Well, so when you went through your dip, and there's 100 conversations in the back end with trying to figure out how to help Eric, and is it okay that Eric isn't producing, and where is Eric at, and how is Eric doing, and us trying to figure it out without pushing into because it still is business. Like, so I'm not going to be like, you need to tell me everything that's going on in your life right now. Like, we're friends.
There's still respect.
There's still boundaries. So it's more like hey, like, let's get as clear a picture as we can of where Eric's at to help and support him through this. And I believe the exact quote that I said to Greg and Carlos on our team was, if what it takes for Eric to get back to Eric is 3 months of just showing up but not really getting a whole lot done, then that's worth doing so that we can have an Eric on our team forever.
Right. But that transparency allows for that to happen.
Right.
The vulnerability on his part and us willing to accept that, and it could be the other way around. I mean, Luke, you could have an issue going on, and you're just transparent with the team, and we're like, okay, we know, we got to step up, and like, I'm probably running the shop if you're away for 2 weeks, and, no meetings change, structure stays the same, consistency continues, and, we keep the show rolling. But transparency allows for that makeup. It's kind of like a relationship. If your wife she's in a rut that week, and she typically takes the kids to daycare in the morning or whatever it is, she's just having trouble waking up. You're gonna step up, you're gonna put in 70% effort instead of 50, and you're gonna make up for, her little bit of a rut, and then you're gonna come back to normal, and the baseline continues.
That's the thing. So, life happens.
Exactly. Right.
If you can't be reasonable with that in your mind about your team and the people on your team, how effective can you really be?
You can't.
I feel like you're limiting your business and your creation, your culture. You're limiting it by having this belief in your head that everything should be perfect at all times. Right?
You absolutely are.
It's just like a marriage.
Right, absolutely. That comes down to structure of the organization and congruency, and that all has to be in a line for the culture to actually work. You can have an enjoyable place to come to and a fun office to walk into every morning, but that doesn't mean you're going to execute well.
Yeah.
Well, that's the same people who would say, well, I don't want to share anything about my life, and I don't care what's happening in my people's life, are the same people that I talk to go, I just can't find good help.
Right.
They just keep leaving for other places that pay them more money. And it's like, no, like, reality is people don't quit jobs. They quit bosses, period. Now, there are certain circumstances,
right? Yeah.
Where,
you offered me $100K more or something like.
Right, it is what it is. Like,
my boss will understand
that just means you got a really good deal on that employee for a period of time, right? Like Courtney, who was on our team, she was going to school to become a naturopathic doctor. And she got an opportunity in that field to work, and it was like,
how don't you?
Sucks for me, but I am so excited for you.
Right, that just happened once though with us, right?
It's actually happened. It's happened.
We've had
twice.
team members that had better opportunities come about that more fit in line with what their desires
ambitions
and goals and what fulfills them. And did we bash them? Did we belittle them?
No, that was fulfilling to you.
Yes.
I'm assuming that's
when Matt, one of our team members, a player phenomenal, contributed so much when he came to us. I mean, he was literally in tears. He was sick to his stomach. He didn't want to leave.
He literally couldn't let the words out.
Like he even struggled with the vulnerability.
I said it for him.
Yeah.
I was just like, hey, we got a call. We think we know.
I know what's going on.
Is it this? He's like, yeah. And he's like, I just wanted to let you know this was something that was going on before I even started here. And it came back around. And at his age, he wanted to pursue an opportunity that he felt made more sense for the next 15 years of his life than working at our agency.
Right.
And it made sense. Like I couldn't even argue with it. I was just like, hey, it is a corporate job. So it's not going to be, you're not going to have bosses that treat you well most of the time. You might get lucky, but just know that could be an issue. And then if you do have a boss you like, they might get replaced 3 months later. And that's just kind of part of the corporate culture. And he's like, yep, I know. And I'm okay with that because I think I could be a leader from my position. And we said, you absolutely will be.
It's funny because I feel like people fear vulnerability because they don't want to look like betrayal. But if you look at it, you're looking like betrayal by not being vulnerable.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Right. When you hide stuff,
It's deceiving
it looks like betrayal.
lying by omission almost. And things like that.
Yeah, and that breaks trust.
But
right?
it's almost human nature at this point because of society and everything that makes people feel that way.
If you share your
fair.
actual opinion on Facebook, you'll be Facebook crucified, right? Keyboard warriors
canceled.
It's another show.
Yeah, that is.
There's fact checkers.
Yeah, right. Like no matter what you say, whether it's real or not, whether it's true or not, whether it's your opinion or someone else's opinion, someone's going to step up and say it's wrong. And so that's the world we live in. So that's why you have to create this sticky culture where people feel safe and it starts with the leader being vulnerable. And so we got about 6 minutes left in the show. Alec, do you want to just very briefly touch on the difference between culture and climate in corporations?
Absolutely. I think these are two terms that are very commonly confused by people, just unknowingly.
They're kind of put into one.
Put into one or not recognizing that they are two different things. They are two different things, two different concepts, but they're related. So a culture is, among a team or an organization, common views, common goals. You all understand the end goal, the big picture, and how you're going to execute that. It should be in line with your business plan. Ultimately, the executive summary at the top of that page, that first page of a business plan. And that's going to direct and guide you, down the path of your end goal that you established and that every team member you bring on should be aware of. And hopefully, if they're aware of it and you're bringing them on, that's important to them too.
Yep.
Can you give some examples of culture and some examples of climate?
Yeah. First, so climate, so that's culture. Climate is the environment that the culture is taking place in, If our CSRs do come in and they're happy every day. They're even on their bad days. I get a call from them every day. We joke around, and their most stressful days, there's still laughs, and that's a good thing. That's a good climate. Luke bringing in a dozen donuts and slapping them down on my desk, or it could be a number of things. Eric going to get burritos because he's the burrito guy.
It's the environment.
It's the environment. Yep. Yes,
and something that you said that made me go ooh was. You can have a good culture and a bad climate, and you can have a bad culture and a good climate,
right?
And then you can have bad both and good both also,
right? And that's where the best productivity takes place is when you have a good culture, a good climate. They're both related. So in a good environment, people are going to want to work more. They're going to enjoy being in the office more. They're going to be more productive. If you have bad both, you just have you have an issue. Your organization is probably in trouble.
Right. Turnover. Things. You're going to be costing you money.
A lot of money.
All of our no-brainers and never happens. The no-brainers don't happen, and the never happens happen all the time. Right. So you lose money.
But I mean, another example could be, Luke, if you weren't you and you were just an abrasive boss or something like that. But everybody went out and sold because they make a killing. They make a lot of money, but it's not an enjoyable place to come into. Nobody comes into the office. They would rather not be there and working from somewhere else. But you can also have low sales, no productivity. There's no execution happening, but everybody's just friends.
So that's a good culture, bad climate.
Bad culture, good climate.
Bad culture, good climate.
Okay.
Bad execution, no productivity. The end goal's we're not moving towards the end goal and the ambition of the organization. Yep. But everybody enjoys being together.
So culture is really built on the foundation of shared values.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then
how we're going to get to this
structure,
end goal.
That you're trying to build.
Yes.
And that's your end goal.
Yes. Congruency and alignment in the organization
climate
structure.
is like, are you building on a mountain or are you building, on a river or a lake house?
Absolutely. And then climate is also vulnerability. How transparent are you and how does your communication work? Which, to be successful in execution, a strategy or a model that you've developed, you have to have good communication, but the climate is where the communication comes from. Is it okay to come into Luke's office and discuss this personal or business problem with him? So
another way to phrase this is what I'm hearing is, climate's kind of like the environment.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Yeah. So if you want to go for I ruck, if you don't know what rucking is, it's hiking with a weighted pack.
It's great cardio.
GoRuck.com. It's the best cardio ever.
You have my biggest calves.
And your knees and hips and back don't hurt like you do in running. I watch people run now, and I literally turn to Sarah and I go, "Oh God, that looks painful."
Why is he doing that?
Like I see 1 out of 100.
Hence why Eric
that guy's got a great gait
now.
Yes. Well, when you have kids, you just pick your kid up and go for a walk. That's rucking. But if you're going for a ruck, so climate would be like, is it 100 degrees and 95% humidity? Because that's not going to be
Snowing.
comfortable, right? Is it 0 degrees and snow in a windstorm and snowing?
Also not good.
Yes. So in your office, do people feel like they're walking into a sauna or a snowstorm, or do they feel like they're walking into a paradise?
Right.
Right. Do they feel like they're walking into like, okay, like, we were just in Arizona last week. You could just walk outside. It didn't really matter what time of day it was. You were comfortable.
Right.
And you knew that you could get the things done that you needed to get done, whether working out, going to the pool, hiking, whatever it was you need to get done, you knew you could do it.
And a good culture is easier to achieve with a good climate. A good climate's so easy to construct,
And that's how you create a sticky culture.
Right.
You
have a good
both.
personality, and you can lead a good climate.
Yeah, that's awesome. So thank you for bringing that to the table, Alec. Of
course.
And thank you to everyone who's listening. If you have more questions about how to create a sticky culture and how the Mardigian Agency has created a sticky culture, we have a first episode that you can listen to on Be Insured, or you can shoot me a message. I'll send you a link right on Facebook or Instagram, Be Insured. You can search it, Be Insured on Facebook. Thank you, and we'll see you next time on Be Insured.